Hi, happy welcome to Endless Nurses World. In this channel, we'll studied about NCLEX chapters in fluids and electrolytes. In last video, we studied about concepts of fluids and electrolytes. In this video, we'll study remaining concepts of fluids and electrolytes. So first we'll see what are all the concepts of fluids and electrolytes. First one is the electrolytes, body fluid compartments, third spacing, edema, body fluid transport, movement of body fluid intake and output, maintaining fluid and electrolyte balance. In this video, we'll study about body fluid transport. Transport means what? Shifting from one place to another place. Likewise, in our human bodies also shifting takes place from one compartment to the another compartment. So many processes involved for this shifting. We'll see one by one. First is the diffusion. Before that, we should know about what is meant by solute and what is meant by solvent. Solute is a substance that is to be dissolved. Solvent is a solution in which the solute is dissolved. So diffusion is the movement of molecules from an area of higher concentration to the lower concentration. It mainly occurs in gases, liquids and solids. Gases like oxygen, nitrogen and carbon dioxide. This diffusion occurs through a membrane. That membrane is named semi-permeable membrane or permeable membrane. The next one is the osmosis. Osmosis is the movement of water between the two compartments by semi-permeable membrane, but not solute. Only water is moving from low solute concentration to high solute concentration. So for this process, there is some pressure is created. That pressure is named as osmotic pressure. This osmotic pressure will prevent the stop the movement of from one compartment to the another compartment. So this osmosis occurs through the selector or semi-permeable membrane. Then filtration. Filtration is also the movement of solutes and solvents by hydrostatic pressure. Both are moving. Solutions are and solvents are moving from higher pressure to the lower pressure area. So hydrostatic pressure means what? Hydrostatic pressure is the pressure exerted by the fluid compartment, within the fluid compartment, mainly in arterial end of capillaries having a high hydrostatic pressure compared to the venous end of the capillaries. Because of why the arterial end is having high hydrostatic pressure, because the contraction of the heart. Because of these contractions, the pressure is created in the arterial end. So because of this increased hydrostatic pressure, there is all fluids and solutes move out of the capillaries. In venous end, there is a decreased hydrostatic pressure. Because of this, all the solutes and solvents enter into the capillaries. So the pressure limit is arterial end 40 mm Hg, venous is 10 mm Hg. Then body fluid transport. So the remaining fluids is shifted to the enter into the capillaries by the oncotic pressure. This pressure is created by the plasma proteins. Osmolality is based on the weight of the water, kilogram of the water. The osmolality is measured. Osmotic pressure is measured by milliosmoles. The normal osmolarity of plasma is 275 to 295 milliosmol per kg or millimole per kg. Movement of body fluid. So the cell membrane separates the interstitial fluid from the intravascular fluid. This membranes, it allows the solutes and substances from one place to the another place. Several forces are involved in this membranes. So if the body lost electrolytes, then the fluids can happen mainly in diarrhea. So we have to give supplements to the fluids and electrolytes for the corrections. So the movement of body fluid, they are categorized into three: isotonic solution, hypotonic solution and hypertonic solution. Isotonic means that is both the sides are equal in nature, both concentration and the solute and solvents are equal in nature, that is isotonic. Hypotonic means there is a less concentration, lower concentration of solute and lower osmolality is the hypotonic solution. Hypertonic solutions are higher concentration of solutes and higher osmolality is called hypertonic solution. So when the solutions is having the movement takes place through the permeable membrane. Active transport is in the active transport is a process of molecules move against the concentration and osmotic pressure. This active transport takes place with the help of extra energies. This energy is produced by the cells due to oxidations of the food products, metabolism of the food products. So for example, sodium potassium pump needed the extra energy ATP adenosine triphosphate. With this help of extra energies, so it's potassium into the cells and sodium out of the cells. Likewise, some electrons like calcium, iron, hydrogen and some of the sugars, amino acids are transport from one place to another place. So this is called active transport. Body fluid intake and output. So we are getting water to our body from three sources. First one is orally liquids and water containing foods, then water formed by oxidation of foods. So 100 calories of fat, carbohydrates, protein gives 10 ml of water. The output is mainly by insensible water loss, perspirations and urinary output. So insensible water loss occurs through the skin and lungs. Lungs, it may vary rate and depth of the respirations. So the perspirations and normal perspirations perspiration of water amount is 100 ml per day. So large quantities of water is in the gastrointestinal tract, but it will be reabsorbed. So if the kidney is having a major role to excrete the fluids and electrolytes, so homeostasis is maintained by the kidneys. Fluid intake, ingested water amount is 1200 to 1500 ml and food containing water is 800 to 1900 ml. Oxidation food gives 300 ml of water. So total 2300 to 2900 ml total fluid intake. In output, kidneys excrete 1500 ml of urine. Insensible loss through the skin 600 to 800 ml and through the lungs 400 to 600 ml. Gastrointestinal tract 100 ml. So total output is 2600 to 3000 ml. Maintaining fluid and electrolyte balance. So maintaining means homeostasis. Homeostasis is maintaining the equilibrium between the internal environment, both environment, external and internal environment. So if the concentration and composition of body fluids is must be equal in nature. That must be constant. If there is any deficiency in the fluid and electrolytes, we have to give either oral administrations or intravenous administrations or medications. If there is any excess of fluids and electrolytes, therapy is needed to direct remove the water and the electrolytes. So the kidneys plays a major role in controlling the balance in fluid and electrolytes. So adrenal glands secretes aldosterone to reabsorb the renal tubules of sodium and water. Then antidiuretic hormone is secreted by the pituitary gland. This will regulate the osmotic pressure in order to regulate the reabsorption of the waters. So the kidneys plays a major role to maintaining the homeostasis between the fluid and the electrolytes. So these are all about the concepts of body fluids and electrolytes. If you like this channel, you can subscribe to me and ring the bell button. You will receive my notifications, and thank you.